Sylvan, got since about 1992 or 93, so a while. Rose, this is Rose. Maybe you want to take the mic here. She's just been.
He just wants me to hold his hand. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, this one, like Rose and her son, actually, Nolan is in the kitchen. They put together, and Deborah brought us dessert too. We have an amazing dinner afterwards. Make sure you don't leave here without being fed. But she's also done amazing help with both when Sylvan was still kind of ill, and also especially cleaning up his place. People know, if you know Sylvan, you stop to see him in the last several years, you kind of know what his place was like. It's not like that anymore. 100% thanks to Rose. She cleaned up the whole thing. Amazing. So that's I think that's
3 months.
3 months. Yeah.
But that's.
Here, go ahead, take the link.
It took me 3 months, and it's because I think it's kind of a hard place to live. Sylvan had only electricity at his house. And so by the time I got there, there was no stove, just a wood stove, and nothing to really cook on. He had, plug-in things like slow cookers and frying pans that you could cook on, but nothing. But when I took everything out, I cooked outside because it was summertime, so it was like a nice little holiday for me at the same time. But I'm really glad that I did that because I'm also one of Sylvan's longtime friends. I've been friends with him since '89. So me too. He was like my brother. We helped each other back and forth for that many years. And for all the stuff that he did for me, because he had a big, kind heart.
Okay, go back. We'll start. You just say hi.
Okay, well, you're going here.
All right.
Okay.
So what we'll do then, you get it.
Okay, here. I'll tell you later.
All right, she'll tell us later. We'll just do a quick thing to do. I mean, we're gonna have. We said hi. Cliff is a very good friend of Sylvan's from Calgary. The one thing Cliff and I both have in common is that Sylvan both introduced us to meditation and to Buddhism, and kind of really transformed both of our lives. But that was kind of, if Sylvan had a faith, it would be that. And so Cliff is going to be doing a little thing for us. That's going to be kind of the ceremony for Sylvan. Then I'm going to read a little quote. When Sylvan was a committed Democrat. He worked hard in his years. He believed in social justice. He believed in environmental justice. He believed, that the means of the earth should be used to make people better, not just for the few. So I have a little thing from that I'll read out. Then I'm going to read out the eulogy. And then his son Arlo is going to come up and speak, have a few words about his dad, share it with us. And then Rose will have a chance to speak. Thank you, got her there. And then Melia is going to come up and say a little bit. And then we have Stan, who's graciously agreed to say a few words. And that's still true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then anyone else who would like to share. And then after that, we'll have just a little, just a 2-minute little reflection. And then we're going to eat. And then if people want to, we're going to see if we can get his ashes buried at the Highland Cemetery. But after lunch, after we eat. Right? So that's the whole plan. So let's go. So I guess to start this whole thing, Cliff, you want me to light the candle? Or you want to do that? So,
there's a candle too.
Yeah, let's light the
okay, you can take it from here.
Have been meditative on this.
Yeah, here. You want to have the microphone? Okay.
Can we dim the lights?
Oh, we could, yeah.
Oh.
If I know where they are.
It's right there.
Maybe take a moment to remember the wonderful things that Sylvan brought into our lives. And a lot of the fun that we had. And the intensity of some of the conversations too. Right? Like it like that.
Can you guys hear him okay?
Is your picture,
Turn it up. Yeah, let's turn it up. Okay. I'll
you
turn it
got
up.
the slide thing running there?
You want me to dim these ones? The big ones?
Sure.
Yeah, you can go ahead. Turn it up. It's on maximum.
Great, thanks. So this is a celebration of life. And it's a life well lived. Sylvan did things with great energy, didn't he? Great energy. When he did something, it got done. And sometimes a bit frustrating. Haven't we all been frustrated when we try to do something? No matter how intelligent we might be, sometimes maybe we weren't as smart as we thought. And for that I owe a lot to Sylvan, in that he got me at a time in the early 1980s. Actually, well, that's when we met, was in the early 1980s. But by the mid-1980s, things had changed in my life. And I had always had an interest in the mind, which Sylvan did also. He was kind of I would say he was like a psychologist. But he didn't have any formal training. He was just good at it. And so at that time, he suggested that we go and do some meditation. And being a fairly anxious person as I am, and as he could be, yeah, we went away and I learned that type of meditation at the time. And one of the reasons that I'm here and willing to drive all this way, because I had to think about who are the people in my life who really made a difference. Well, most of us can say, yeah, my mom, yeah, my dad. What about my friends? Who did I do a 180 with when things were really bad and down? Sylvan. Just showed up. Just showed up. So let's go do meditation. And that was the first time that he sort of saved me, really. It doesn't seem like, to see this man, you wouldn't think that he has kind of the mind of a monk sometimes. How did he do this? It's just by saying, hey, why don't we do this? And it's wonderful. And then there came another time, not long after actually. Sylvan had gone to become a life skills coach, as you know. And he did a 180. That did so much for him. And I could see this incredible difference in how he managed himself. And he suggested that I do that. And we lived together for 3 months. Well, we all have stories, don't we? You can tell a lot of stories, all the chats you had, all the ideas that flew around. Yeah, we lived together for 3 months in Edmonton, and I too became a life skills coach. And that made all the difference for me, and once more I did a 180. So I can really honor this man. He saved my butt more than once. Big time. And I think if you search through your own memories of him, you find how much help he was. He could be there for you, both at a personal level and using his almost genius, really, with making things and fixing things and creating things and building things. He had a real knack for that, didn't he? And he was always experimenting. He was never afraid to go outside the box a little bit, just to see if he could make it work. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. But it was always great. So I'm here to honor my friend, whom I will miss very much. We had long chats into the night about life, the universe, and everything. Sometimes 2, 3 in the morning. When he could get cell service in high-low, which was pretty bad. We'd drop a lot of calls, but we'd call back. And on we'd go. Yeah, I miss that. And I appreciate that about him. Very much I appreciate that about him. So, this is just an image. It's just a picture. But the idea is that there's healing. And Sylvan was a good healer. This is what's called the Healing Buddha. It's got a name, Menma, Healing Buddha. And Sylvan introduced me, as I said, to Buddhism, and that became a fairly large part of my life. Took me to many places in the world where I got to do things with people. I've had a blessed life. Thank you, Sylvan. And he also had a great interest, of course, in the spiritual aspect of things. And being here, he found quite a bit of solace in the First Nations practices, which are very similar to Buddhist practices. So I brought some incense, and if it's okay, I will light the incense in his honor, for his body, his speech, and his mind. Blessings on you, Sylvan, Moshuk.
All right. Okay, well, thank you, Beth. So, this is a quote from J.S. Woodworth. J.S. Woodworth was one of the founders of the CCF, which was what the NDP came from. He was a preacher of the gospel of social justice, and along with Dharma, being Dharma bomb, and Sylvan was a social justice warrior. He was a big help to me, actually, in both of my campaigns. He actually encouraged me to run when I did back in 2015. Now that I'm starting to win. This is something that we would say at NDP events. That a friend Mandy, unfortunately, she sent regrets. She wanted to be here, but Yeah, this is up on the wall of the cooperative there on 831 that they found. We are thankful for these and all the good things of life. We recognize that good things are a part of our common heritage and come to us through the efforts of our brothers and sisters the world over. What we desire for ourselves, we wish for all. To this end, may we take our share in the world's work and the world's troubles. That's from that. So from there, I'd just like to read out the obituary here. Maybe try some. There's copies if you did notice on the back. And if there are any omissions in this, when we have the open mic, please let me know. I wrote this up, but I only knew part of the story. So. But I did. I knew a lot about what kind of happened at the end. It wasn't easy end, but he was ready for this. Sylvan Moshuk passed away in the Athabasca Hospital on July 19th at the age of 69. He would be lovingly remembered by his son Arlo and his brother Alan, who unfortunately was too ill to travel up here today. He was predeceased by his parents Alex and Annie Moshuk, who I'm sure people know, just the sweetest people ever meet. Grew up not too far from here on a small farm by Hilo, and left home at the age of 16 and did all kinds of things over his life. He worked construction, he was a fire lookout, which is when I think, is that when he met you, was that time?
Kind of.
Yeah, when he met his wife. He was a surveyor. He was a trained cook. Did a lot of camp cooking, and like all over the place. And as Cliff mentioned, he was also a certified life coach, and he worked at Drift Pile, among other communities. I think in Calgary, places like that. Strong believer. In later years, he went to University of Lethbridge and became a civil engineer, and he helped design many of the buildings. I didn't put it up, and he's actually brought out a picture of your father-in-law's house that he designed. See that, but he did lots of stuff you see standing around today. He had a hand in. He was a free spirit and a non-conformist with strong passion for environmental sustainability and social justice. If you spent any time with Sylvan at all, he was always on about something that was going to save the environment. Usually bicycles in the last few years. But he was never afraid to stand up for what he thought was right. He had an informed and critical perspective on national and international events, and loved to discuss and debate. If you ever talked to somebody at length, you knew that he was a critical thinker. He made up his own mind about events, and he wasn't afraid to hold his opinion, even when he was in the minority. And he was usually right, too. He was an active member of the NDP, serving on the executive of several constituent associations, which is actually how I met him many years ago, back in St. Paul. He was involved in many other causes that I probably know about, but everyone who knew him even slightly knew that he was an avid gardener, a cyclist, and did whatever he could to minimize his own footprint. For him, life was never about money, but about passion for doing the right thing. And that's how he lived his life until, as long as he had choices he could make. Last 25 years he spent here. He loved this place. He never wanted to leave it. He was all, he was, if he'd had the preference, he would have died here, I think. And I'm sure, but his heart is here for sure. In a house he designed himself and built with the help of Arlo, who's here, and his father Alex. Visitors were always welcome. He was a wonderful storyteller, and he had wonderful, fascinating act with people. And he had a particular fondness and understanding, I'd say, of the underdog. His favorite people loved to talk about the recovered addict, or the person who made good, despite all the hardships. And he took great pride and respect for people that they came up even just a little bit, right? So in that sense, even though he would have professed it that way, he was, kind of a Christian lady. I know Mel's going to talk about this, but he was also a martial artist, and if before he passed away, he could blow your mind by how fast he could move. Right? He could take you apart before you even knew what was happening. But he never came across that way, unlike a lot of people that have that. Right? You have that. He had lots of friends in the local Métis community, not just here, but in Lac-La-Biche and Kikino. I know for myself, I had so many adventures and met so many amazing people in Kikino, because of Sylvan, right? And Buffalo Lake, yeah. But harder, I was on the Kikino side, right? Buffalo Lake, I don't know. Yeah, now. Yeah, so my thing's done. Okay, so I guess that's what I have to say. I mean, he was one of my best friends. I really miss him, and I just that's just the way things go, right? So I guess that's the eulogy. So next one, Arlo. Did you still want to come up and say a few words?
Sure.
Do right on, man. Come on up. There you go. Yeah.
Not to go here. It's so it's good.
Good way for you to read on.
No,
Here you go. It's good. We can hear you. Go ahead.
I got to see some people I haven't seen in a while and meeting new ones. I got to see all the times we spent together. Growing up, we'd sometimes get together and I don't know where to start, but
Start where you want to go.
and then we travel and we stay at home. I was stuck away from him when I was young because he had an accident, and that sort of stopped seeing him so much. And but we got together. I've been staying during those times. I've been staying with my parents, and that's why we did. It was good to be together. I remember when I just started. I remember when he was into willow chairs. I think maybe I'll try that. We didn't start. But there's samples there. He got better. He had surgery. And we did other things together. We traveled. We went to. I got to see part of Alberta, and not everybody gets to see. And be part of a family that's not so much there. And I'm part of that. And we went to. He was really good at mechanics. I admired that. I never see a person doing things. Eventually, my grandmother moved to Langley, and we'd come and visit. And it was good. We got to experience what it was like out there. And then we'd spend time there. Then we'd have a good time, and then we'd go back after enjoying our time together. And we got our chair, we got her, and we got the old car. And we traveled. I miss a lot of the things that he did, of course. But I did see, yeah. Well, that's it.
Thank you. It's hard. You did a great job. Good. All right. And Rose. Malaya.
You don't want to give me no money.
Maybe not. You're supposed to be up here with me, by the way. What do you think Paul's mean? It's so early. All right. You guys can hear back there? Is it okay, actually? Or? Yeah? All right. Speak right into the mic.
I will speak right in the mic. This way? No, I'm using it.
Oh, you got props.
Props now. I met Sylvan when I was a free spirit, and we had a lot of things that were very, very much in common, even though we hadn't traveled together, but we did a lot of things that were the same. We both worked in forestry towers. We were very interested in Japanese lifestyles and martial arts. I was an environmentalist. How can you work in a forestry tower and not enjoy the environment and want to take care of it? And also, I'm very creative. I love to solve problems. But that's what happened to us. We ended up with a problem. And so we had to break up. I'm his ex. Heaven knows where we would have ended up together. Because we lived in some pretty crazy places. In Lac La Biche, we stayed at the Boy Scout mission. During the winter, it was freezing. And then when it was just too cold and unbearable, we stayed at a renovated laundromat in Lac La Biche. And from there, I think I stayed in a chicken coop that was along the Hilo Highway. So I am going to miss him a lot. His presence gave me a presence. His light gave me some light, and I will never forget it. One of the things that he helped me with, oh, come the props, is sometimes you have to measure before you cut or design anything. And so he helped me regulate with a ruler some of the events that I would do with people. I ended up working with children a lot. My favorite thing was martial arts with him. We did Aikido. And I still have my gi. And the reason I liked Sylvan's approach to Aikido was the fact that he was happy to work with people in the room, like doing the roles together and working with another partner. You can't learn Aikido unless you have a good opponent. And so he learned how to work with opponents in a very, very tactful way. Aikido teaches you to take the energy and do that 180 and just move with grace. And believe it or not, Sylvan could actually act graceful. And the other point I wanted to make is when I met him, he came from a very strong rural crop of people, but his father was very, very strict, and his mother was very, very loving, and I felt so close to them. And Bubba found some material that had pictures of children skating, and she made this shirt for Arlo when he was around 9 years old. And I think that Sylvan would have done the same thing if Arlo was missing some clothing or some tools. If he had to, he would make it. So I'm going to miss Sylvan a lot. We love comparing notes and getting ideas from each other. Amen.
All right. Thank you. Nice job. Thank you so much. Wow. Well, it's wonderfully said. All right. Stan, did you want to come up and say a few words?
Do you want to talk for the party?
So not a problem with that. All right, thank you, Colin. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stan DeLorme, I'm from the Buffalo Lake Métis Settlement. I come here today because Sylvan was a friend of mine. I've known Sylvan since the early 70s, I do believe it was. And hung out a little bit when we were kids. And for the longest time after that, I hadn't seen Sylvan, simply because he was doing his own thing, I was doing mine. But before I continue here, I'd like to as well express my condolences to the family, and as well pass along condolences and regret from one of his best friends, Lawrence Lewinsky. I spoke to Lawrence yesterday. He was going to be here today, but unfortunately he had mechanical problems with his vehicle. Believe it or not, this guy's a mechanic. He's got mechanical problems.
Says we never get a
Okay. But anyhow, I spoke to him and he passes along his condolences, obviously, his regrets. And he and Sylvan grew up together. They were neighbors, as a matter of fact. The Lewinskis lived on the hill going to Lac La Biche, and of course Sylvan lived to the northwest of him there a little bit. And by accident, I ran into these guys when we were about 15 or 16, I think it was. And and kind of hung out together. And that's when I found out that Sylvan was, he and his dad had a falling out anyhow. So he came up to the Lewinskis and we ended up staying in the granary there, I think there was about a week. This was summer holidays, keep in mind. And Lawrence, I knew him from school, obviously, who was a good friend of ours. Kenny Trinidad can attest to that, he's here today. And I had a lot of good times together. I won't get into details of what took place, but they're memorable. Okay? They're very memorable. But anyhow, years later, I ran into Sylvan, and we needed a person to design some of the buildings that we currently are utilizing in Buffalo Lake. And Sylvan fit the bill as far as the design is concerned. He was. Is this thing echoing? Hey?
Yes.
It echoes a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just stand over here a little bit. Yeah. But anyhow, he did design some buildings for us, which we're currently utilizing, and done a damn good job of it. Of course, we had to hurry him up a little bit because he was kind of taking his time with some of the work that he was doing, and we needed to build these buildings within that budget year. So he came, out there and helped us out, and ended up basically hanging out in Buffalo Lake there for a bit. He had quite a few friends there, by the way, and he'd come out and, they'd share a meal with him and a cup of tea, and then he'd come back to the Caslan. So one day he invited me to come over to his house here. The guy had a bit of a green thumb as well. I didn't know that, but he had a garden, a nice little garden. And I'll be danged, by the time I left his home, he gave me potatoes, gave me onions, and some other vegetables that he had that he took out of his garden. So he definitely looked after himself in that respect. So, but anyhow, I thought I'd come up here and just share a little bit about Sylvan, and rest in peace there, my friend. It's been nice knowing you. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you so much, Dan. Wayne, do you want to say a couple of words, you said? Well, I think Rose,
Mark, I said enough
Rose
already.
is the closer here. Aren't you welcome before I close?
I'll talk, because I could go on all day.
I'm Wayne Brio. My wife Jean and I moved to the Athabasca area only about 25 years ago, so we're newcomers. I was teaching at Athabasca University. I came in '99 and she came in 2000, so just on time to help Colin with his first campaign. I don't remember too many of the other NDP helpers at the time, but about 10 years later, when we were involved with the provincial or the Riding Association, I met Sylvan, and shortly after I met Arlo. So we only knew them really through the NDP connection. It was too far away for us to visit often, and he was very enthusiastic and attended meetings, even though he had problems with transportation quite often, getting to meetings, because we had in Rochester and Westlock and various other places. So that's the main thing we remember, is his dedication to social democracy principles and the environment.
Okay, well, thank you. Did anyone else want to come up and say a few words? Yeah, come on up. Mr. McKetty.
I'm not much of a public speaker, so forgive me. Number one, I swear, I'm a welder.
Say no more, say no more.
I won't even know I said it.
Speak right into the mic.
Yeah. There used to be a joke about that. I don't know where to begin, but my name's Joe McKetty, of course, and I was born in Mercy, ever since I was a kid. And we all thought he was weird. We didn't understand the nature and the stuff that you guys are talking about, but there was a lot of side connected to Sylvan, and I got that part. So we spoke of Lawrence Levitsky. I was born in Mercy him also. We were all friends, Rocky Howard, Trevor Jukins. We all hung out together. And I knew some of them was good. In fact, his dad was a big social credit kind of guy.
So correct.
Yes.
Alex was.
No way.
Yeah.
He was like a total, like, almost communist.
I'll let you know. We'll have a coffee after.
Sure.
No, I just want to get through this. Anyway, his dad was a big social credit guy, so, and so was my Uncle Rudolph. My Uncle Rudolph, one of the oldest uncles in my family. They loved each other because of the soap. So he was a strict guy, like you said. And, but when I came to this farm to visit Sylvan or anything like that, I had one trick. It took me a little bit, but I figured if I talk about social credit, I'll get what I want. And if I agree with social credit, I get what I want. And if I tell him he's the greatest guy in the world and he should be running for something, well, I got free gas. And that's exactly what I went there for. And of course, back in those days when we were partying, we smoked a little bit of herb. I'm not gonna lie, we did. So it would be, I remember being there one time, there was me, Lawrence, Levitsky, Phil McKetty, we all went there, and we were out of gas. Because that's all we did was live in our wheelchair in Hilo and cruise around. And so they sent me to talk to Alec about social credit and everything, and they were gonna, because Sylvan didn't want to go talk to his dad and ask him for gas. So I went there, and then I, we talked about this, and I knew nothing about social credit. All I did was sped off on what he told me, and I just agreed. And it's hard to explain because you have to be there, and I'm remembering that as we go. So I would talk to him about that. Meanwhile, the boys are smoking a joint with Sylvan, and he's putting the gas in the car. And I remember it very well because we were playing, one favorite song was Major Tom by David Bowie.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were listening to that in the stairs. Back in those days, we had an ugly carpet, a really good stereo, but it was stereo. And we cranked that up, and then he asked us that, so people, we have to, yeah, go ahead, put gas in there, and we were listening to it while everybody's stoned, and pretty soon I left the yard with a full tank of gas. But Sylvan wasn't, periodically through our lives, we would always run into each other because he went one way and of course we went another way. But he was a high level. And that was big back in those days. I imagine Debbie can remember something like that, I'm sure. And it used to be a favorite joke amongst me, Lawrence, and him. And it was the Hilo Cowboys, which was a hockey team, or was it football team? Can't remember. And in the Hilo Cowboys, Lawrence was number 49, and we always gave Sylvan the water boy trick, right? Because he didn't like sports much at all. So we were the 49ers, and of course he was the water boy. And we would meet up, and we'd meet up in Edmonton. I remember when Arlo was just a little boy, that's when you just had broken up with Sylvan at that time. You guys were living in Edmonton, and we always have a house full of vegetables. The garden was always there, but the one particular place that I remember was the place that had the forte where you walked through the bush and then you went into a plateau out in the mountain and you used to have picnics back in there. We had one in there too. And like I said, I always thought that he was kind of weird because we were in a time of our life where we come from a poor family and we were getting out and we were having lots of fun. The one thing we could do is party. Partying was that everybody got together and we had a lot of fun. We were just talking about Hilo dances there before it came up. And Sylvan was good for that. He always wasn't the entertainer, but he was, like some people collected people, some people collected books, cards, and everything. And it seemed to me like he collected thoughts. So he'd take a thought, but then he could explain it to you. And I like that about him. That's what made it from the best. And I'm glad that I got to see something. I've only moved back home now for 3 years. I was living in Edmonton, and I happened to run into him at his Caslan store, and this little silver car pulls up with no fender on it. no door, it's all no fender on it and everything. Who pops out? Something. So I walked up to him, we haven't seen each other for a few years, and I introduced myself, and really, well, it was a big, long conversation, and then I lived at Hilo. He was coming to see me, he did. He drove into Hilo, but he didn't know if I was where I was, and where I'm living at was at a place that I was there at 9 years old, building the place, and we called him Uncle Julie, and it was his house. And we kind of made a full circle, and it was the same thing with Sylvan. I haven't seen him for a long time, and I kind of like came full circle, and we were in Hilo when we last met. So to me, that's a pretty good thing. But one more funny note there, we went to Rock City. It used to be a favorite bar in Edmonton for us guys to go there. And I happened to be there, and Sylvan wasn't it, but he has to come in later. This is when he was working up in the camps, when he got his cooking license, and he was working in the camps. And I came up behind him and I kicked him in the butt. And he turned around with that, whoa. Like the whole place was packed when he did this, right? Well, I couldn't do nothing. I cracked right up. Right? I didn't know who it was, but he did it so funny, like it's like a ninja turtle. He jumped around and he went into the stance, and it was like, once he knew it was me, then it was okay, but it was funny. And then he said, oh, Joe. Yeah, well, you can't come sit with me because it's only me and two girls. He says, I don't want nobody else there. Martin laughed at that too, but like I said, he was quite a character. He was not he loved life lots. And he, like she said about the environment, There was lots of stories, lots of memories and stuff like that, and being on that farm, it was really great. But I'm gonna miss him too. And we're just reconnected in the network, he's not. But that's the way life goes, that's what you need. Enjoy it while you got it, I guess, right? Thanks, guys.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Enjoy it while you got it.
That's correct, yes.
All right. Wow. Does anyone else like to come up and say? Yeah, here we go. Right. Wow. Look at the level of participation. At the service, you never see this. That's how you get testament to Sylvan. Everybody feels comfortable. You know, service.
Yeah, I'm Deb Lazinski. I'm New Sylvan. Yes, that's a good one. Closer?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a politician.
Yeah. So, yeah, rode the bus together for many years. There was a time when Sylvan moved away that sort of lost track of him and stuff, but in the more recent years, he'd stop by and visit. Or, yes, I can relate to Cliff and the phone breaking up and having to call back. It was satellite phone, it was some other phone, yeah, I was always experimenting with some new way of contacting people. So, I just want to say that for Sylvan, he's so looking forward to Arlo coming, visiting. And I'm a bad speaker. I also want to thank Colin for totally stepping up for Sylvan. Much appreciated. I know you put a lot of effort to it.
Yes. Wow. Does anyone else want to say? Thank you for. All right. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe we can do the slides.
Yeah, let's do the slide.
Do the slides, and then you want to say something that I wanted to say a little bit,
Okay,
and then
we'll
we'll.
just kind of wrap it up then in the end.
Yeah,
How's that?
You're gonna be the closer then.
Okay.
Okay, we have to close.
Okay, I
All right.
promise.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so I put together with Amelia's help and Rosa's help. We went through Sylvan's photographs. I had a couple. There's big gaps because before we had cameras on phones, we wanted to take pictures of everything, right? Master, if you want to get it started, just a couple minutes, and then and I should have had music in the background. There's no music, but if it would, if we had the music and something like it, would be folk music or Ukrainian fiddle or polka. Or accordion. Or I'll just do it directly. Okay, just start from the beginning. Alright. There we go. Now this should. Right. Okay. And yeah, it's silence. You guys can speak. Come on, right? Oh yeah, and after we're done, Melia and Rose put together this beautiful, wonderful display, and make sure you take a look at it, all right? And say how to sell them to a person. All right, okay, bye. Yeah. Yes.
Do you think you can share some of those pictures? Can you use them?
Well, of course, I can put the whole thing. I can export it all on Facebook.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay, I got some.
Sure. And then we can add pictures like Louise has some pictures. I'm not sure why. There we go. Yeah, to get pictures of this, he was very proud of his firework work. That's how we got there. Yeah. There he is. Look at how
kidding? No, you tried that.
Yeah, I used to do that.
Yeah, I just. No wonder we had two girls, like two girls at the same time. It's that two. There's nothing for that to make it all.
Yeah. Oh, this is my favorite
Yeah,
picture.
yeah. I'm missing a picture. Somehow I lost it.
Oh.
Well, he made those wheelchairs. I was talking about that too.
Yeah, it is.
That's actually, I think, the first things he made one in exchange for an ad like publication that my first wife got. She's still there. What's the same picture? There we go. Okay, sorry for the duplication. I finished it about 3 a.m. So.
That's where we live, in Edmonton. Yes, it is.
It was like that in red, it seems like the red shirt.
There is our He's like a doll. I don't know, I was like, dude, the cutest kid, eh?
Mhm.
And team too. We think this is when he graduated from life skills, but we're not 100%. Probably, right?
Yeah,
Think so.
1993, I think.
That's his brother Alan. Sylvan took that picture of his cousin.
Those are his cousins. Two girls. Cousins.
That's what I think the son was living in that trailer. I knew him then when this picture was taken, I think. Yeah. At this farm. Yeah.
Is that the one that's at the house there?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's still in pretty good shape.
That's Labishin. I'm sure that's got to be the.
Yeah. Because he rebuilt that, he redesigned it
Yeah, it's the same picture. Yeah, it was supposed to be.
for the rental.
There you go. Just he made all those things. What bark or something?
Yeah, it's birch bark, bird houses
Yeah.
and bird feeders.
Oh yeah. That's talking about that. That's him meditating. With me too. That's awesome.
There's Colin.
Yeah.
No one knows that.
Back in, that
College
was
when you
2001,
got
just before I went back to Korea. I think, that's when they're building their house.
What
Same
year was
time.
that when he completed his house there?
Gotta be about the same.
Across the street here.
I think he was like, was early 2000 before.
Probably 2000, because he
Yeah.
came home in 2001
Yeah.
and it was done.
And that's what great friend Albert is unfortunately passed away. We'll be here with him. That's his later years. That's a cool picture. I stole that from his Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, Viriel couldn't be here today. She's at a conference, but she sent that. She was a good friend of Sylvan's.
And that's her
Pure
parents.
Gold. Yeah, Pure Gold. And that's such a cool picture. Oh, that's a
That's Guido.
Oh,
Cutting
yeah?
his hair.
Huh.
Haircut.
Yeah. I took that on his last birthday. The
Sweet.
pizza party.
That's nice.
At the hospital. There you go. That's it. Okay.
Well, then,
Okay, so thanks again for coming. I guess for me, for Sylvan, Cliff alluded to, you know, how he was kind of invested. I mean, I think Sylvan would also, you know, even though he lived pretty close to the edge, he was always in the habit of adopting strays. You know, if you really needed, you know, someone there. I mean, when I first met him, I had myself together. I was, you know, I had a business, house. Then I got divorced. I spiraled, and I ended up, you know, just pretty well being living on my mom's couch and just spending my time finding money. I spent it on, you know, things maybe I shouldn't have, right? We had long conversations, and he did his life skill stuff on me. And he did these exercises and helped me get focused. Helped me get the steps where I got off my mom's couch, got myself a job overseas in Korea, met my wife Suji, and had 2 beautiful children because of that. But I think if he hadn't had, you know, been there for me then, who knows? You know, I might have ended up like, you know, in a bit of a worse place. Cliff talks about the past now. The past in meditation is something we believed in. If you haven't heard what it is, it's a pretty hardcore thing to do. You go and like for 10 days, you sit for about 12 hours a day, no talking, and I think you get up at 4 a.m., bed by 8 p.m., and you meditate through that time. And you just observe your respiration. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's incredibly powerful. It gives you a level of clarity and focus, and it also opens your eyes to what reality really is, what we really are. Right? We're not just, you know, like, we're not mortal beings. We are the universe enjoying itself, right? And it kind of really changed my perspective on the world. It's helped me through a lot of hard times. And, you know, he did this for me. He did that for many other people. He always had his people that he adopted, that he was working with, that he was learning from. You know, I think he's going to be greatly missed. I mean, when he was in his time of need at the end, I mean, it was, you know, it was my turn. And stuff. You know, I'm really privileged I was able to do that. But thank you again so much for coming. It's really wonderful that we can commemorate him. He loved to cook. He loved to eat. Maybe even more, he loved to cook. And Rose wanted to make sure that we had a proper dinner. So we got amazing food back there, thanks to her and her son. So let's enjoy that. So you can close now. You got the last word, Rose. All right. Oh, did you want to say something? Oh, of course. You guys should have said what I was saying there. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. I'll give you probably then I'm going to sit down. You just give it to Rose. I'm not getting up again. All right.
Hello. We're here to represent the Burville family. Our family gives you guys our condolences. My dad, Leo Burville, spent many, many hours visiting with Sylvan, having beers, debating. One time, debating about life and all things. One time, Sylvan came to our house when we lived in Boyle, and Dad and Sylvan drank too many beers, and Sylvan went home. I forget how he got home. I don't know if he rode his bike or someone gave him a ride. That part I don't remember. But the next day, Nolan, my brother, he couldn't find his shoes. It turned out Sylvan wore Nolan's shoes home accidentally. So yeah, that was funny. And my father-in-law, Don Romanishin, he had gotten Sylvan to design his home. It's a 16-sided cordwood home, and it's very beautiful, and Sylvan was very proud of that.
I spent the last couple of months of Sylvan's life with him at the villa. We debated lots about philosophy and politics. Sometimes we had to agree to disagree. And he sat with our grandfather, Harvey Leon, at the table, and they would discuss Caslan, all the people and everybody he knew and loved here. Sylvan was so excited to get that tricycle, that new bike. He had it at the villa in his room. He never did get a chance to ride it, but he was so excited. Did you see my bike? It's so wonderful. Colin's bringing my bike. But yeah, he did take our brother's shoes.
Oh my God, I don't know what to say.
All right.
It'll come to you.
I'll say something real quick. I am so
Oh, you have to
glad
flip it
that
on.
Colin and Rose were around. I knew something was amiss in December, and Colin was cueing Sylvan with what to say and stuff. And I really appreciate the closeness that they showed throughout the whole thing. Thank you.
Well, hello? There we go. That scared me. I've been friends with Sylvan since 1989. I just had came back to Laklavish and started school at the college. And I was taking a computer program, it was one of the courses. And I was so frustrated because I was so new at the computer. And it was pretty frustrating for me trying to do my resume. So one day, on a weekday, I went down to the Friendship Center in Laklavish. And I'm at the computer station, cussing and swearing. Then all of a sudden, this guy comes along. He says, "Do you mind if I pull a chair? I might be able to help you," he said. Guess who? This man right there. So he helped me put my resume together. I typed it all out. He just kind of guided me along. And right to this day, and I became a social worker. I'm retired now, but throughout my lifetime, since then, I used that same resume, and I was very, very lucky because I always had a supervisory position. And I have to give him credit for that, because if it hadn't been for that moment, I probably would have never ever met him. So he became my best friend. He was like my brother. We helped each other along the way throughout life. And I think he only got mad at me once in all those years. It was very brief, so I don't know, it must have been something I said. Maybe I didn't have enough joints or something, I don't know. But I just wanted to share a few things. My left-handed blue-eyed friend here, you walk into his house and he'd have his CBC radio on, right? CBC all the time. And then he had all these mopeds and bikes, motorbikes, trucks. Oh my God, he had all kinds of stuff. But I just also want to share, I made these two things over here. Come over here. This thing here was in his house all the years, I don't know how many years. So I put all those flowers on. And the watering can, because he was a gardener, Stan, that those pre-annuals I put them in there on the day that Sylvan passed away. And they were at his house since then. What else to say? I got so many things, but he was my good friend, and you know what? I'm really gonna truly miss him, because even when I drive by there, it's gonna be very hurtful. So I just want to say, Sylvan, thank you. God, thank you for sending this man to cross my path, because I'm totally gonna miss him. He became our family friend. He helped me through, he's been in my life in the last 2 husbands. He did actually help me out, get me through some of the stuff, so yeah, it was good. So yeah, I'm gonna totally miss him. And God bless you, rest in peace. Sylvan.
All right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's see. Someone else wants. Okay, Sue. Good luck, time. Not done yet?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come up. Let's get